The other day, I was online and I saw this oracle. It's called the Endless Oracle. So I reached out to the creator, and the creator, let me show you, sent me this deck as a gift. Wasn't that sweet? This is the creator's information in case you want to check the creator out. But the creator sent me this deck. This is their business card as a gift for the purposes of us doing an honest review. So I'm very excited because the color palette is something I've never seen. It's kind of bluish, and I heard there was a very interesting thought process behind the cards. So we're going to find out. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to someone else who might want to see this particular deck. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you want to get a reading done, please hit me up on social media. I will be so happy to give you a reading. Underneath this video, you will find the link directly to where you can buy a legitimate copy of this deck. There's so many fakes out there on the market. So I'll always try to give you a legitimate copy whenever a legitimate link to get a copy whenever I have it. So it looks like there's going to be some keywords. There's going to be some information, some creative notes. It doesn't look like it's very long. It's the glossary of the cards. So an explanation each of the cards. Let's see if there's some spreads. Oh, it tells you how to use it with tarot. Oh, wow. All right. So this looks interesting. All right. So we're going to look at the cards, and then I'm going to pull one, and we're going to look at the guidebook for that specific card. Let's take a look at the box. Pretty box. Nice and sturdy. Not one of those cheap tuck boxes. There's 53 of these cards. All right, so they're inspired by tropes, archetypes, English folklore, fantasy. Okay. And they can be arranged in any order to create different panoramic images. Each card will take on new meaning as it appears in different scenes, providing you with insightful and nuanced readings and a distinct experience unlike that of any other oracle deck. See, that's what made me want to show you guys this deck, because people kept talking about how unique it is. And I'm like, well, we got to see this. So let's open her up. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the inside. So very pretty, very glossy, very attractive. Nice ribbon on the inside so we can get the cards out easily. Here are the cards themselves. Now before we get into them, I'm going to take one. Let's see, take the first one. They are not a bad size. Look at the size of these. I'm going to show you guys. I have right next to me a standard size tarot deck. So we're going to see how they measure up. I got to put it in front of it. I think it's a little... Oh, wow. It's about the same size. Wow. So it's, I mean, basically exactly the same size as a standard tarot card. Yeah. So they're a great size. They're a great size. Not too thick, not too thin. Here's the backs of them. Very attractive. Glossy. A lot of glare on there. So if you're using lights, you'll have to be mindful of that. Then we have the color scheme. And this one is called the Archway. So, wow. Let me see how... It said you can put them together to get different scenes. Oh, wow. Yeah, you can. Interesting. So depending upon how you get them, you're going to get different messages. So let's look at each one. This one is the archway. Now, I think this is interesting. So you could use these with tarot, as it said in the book, or you can use them, I guess, by themselves. I would probably use them by themselves at first and get to know them. And they said it was different. The bard comes from, if I'm not mistaken, medieval times, I think. I think if a hero did something, a bard would write a story about their accomplishments and would then walk around behind the hero singing the song of praise. What an ego boost, right? What if every time you did something awesome, somebody made up a song and then walked behind you singing about your praises? I know narcissists would love that. But I think everybody probably would. I think some people would find it to be annoying after a while, especially if every time you went to the market, the bard was walking behind you. But I do think that's a really sweet way to be able to immortalize someone's accomplishments. Now, if you notice here, the color scheme pretty much is the same. It's this whitish, bluish, darkish kind of color. Every once in a while, you see a pop of like pink or something like that. But for the most part, that's the color scheme that we're getting. So that's interesting too. I don't have any decks that have that type of a color scheme. Most of my decks are pretty much multicolored, and I have a few that are black and white. But this is the first time I've seen something like this, because you can see where the pinks or the reds are popping out throughout here. Nice touch. And they said these are hand drawn. Oh, excuse me. Wait a minute. There we go. It says they're hand drawn. So I think that's awesome too. The cohorts. Does she have on a witch hat? Let's see. Yeah, one of them has on a witch hat. Or has a witch hat laying on the rock. Yeah, it is laying on the rock, it looks like. I can't tell, but that's what it looks like. That's pretty cool. As you can see, you can't really see people in these. There are people there, but they're kind of, they're not really detailed. You don't really see like their ethnicity, their size, their gender. You just see that it's a person. You could probably guess, what they might be as far as certain details, but we don't get any. And I like that, because that means, like, look at this, the dark figure. I can put myself in this easily. So I could be that cloaked dark figure, The diplomat. Again, here we got those pops of red and pink I like so much. Very nice touch. So they've won me over with the artwork. They've won me over with the size of the cards. Yeah. I like the titles of the names of the cards. I want to really see what they're about, though. Like, when we're done, I want to pull a few and really see what the story is looking like. Love that. I want to see how the cards play together. The fairy ring. Oh, I love the fairies. Love them. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of familiar images. Oh, look at the green in this one. This one has some green in it. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of familiar images. This one reminds me of Bambi. Poor Bambi's mom. I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but watch Bambi. It's sweet. It's very sweet. Okay. The fields. Okay. The artwork is really nice. Very clean. Very detailed as far as the landscapes are concerned. It makes me feel like I'm in the card. But it doesn't feel modern. It takes me back. All of these take me back to a different time. So I like that too. I like being able to escape escape our modern reality for a few moments and go into this forest here. Okay. Clouds. Beautiful. Yeah, I have never seen anything like this. They said it was unique. I've never seen anything like these keywords, first of all. Giants. Okay. Yeah, I've never seen anything like these keywords. The color scheme is different. Um, I like it. I like it a lot. And I must tell you that Eric, the artist and creator of this deck, is very kind. We emailed each other. Awesome interaction. I think many of you will enjoy the customer service. Eric wasn't feeling well, but he still got on top of making sure that I had the deck and my questions were answered. Very professional, very professional energy. And I felt good about working with him and actually showing this deck to you guys because I really believe that you're in good hands. So if you choose to get one of these beautiful decks, I think it will be a positive experience. Oh, look at that rainbow. Nice. Let's see. The Knight. All right. Definitely reminds me of King Arthur. The days of the Round Table. The Lighthouse. Okay. The skies are really impressing me. I keep noticing the stars, the lightning, the moon. One moon was kind of a blood color, and I remember one of the moons of the year. Here's one. Here's another one. That color I was talking about in the moon. One of the moons I remember is called the blood moon. I can't remember which month we see the blood moon, but that reminded me of that. The mirror pool. Reminds me of the stag from Harry Potter. I think it was his father's Patronus. Reminds me very much of that. Mountains and roads. And check out that. That's cool. That's really cool. I wish we could see the planets closer because they're really beautiful when you see them drawn in art. The mystic. Okay. Love me a good mystic moment. The observatory. Reminds me of Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story. King George had his own observatory. And for anybody who watched Queen Charlotte and is a Bridgerton fan, King George from Charlotte's husband is the same King George from the Revolutionary War fought by the States. I thought that was an interesting fact because, of course, Bridgerton is historical fiction, but I just thought that was interesting because basically he is depicted as being somebody who is not all there. He might have some type of disorder, and we don't know what that disorder is. So I'm like, wow, he had this disorder, was still running England and fighting a war while his wife in Parliament must have been helping. So Queen Charlotte was a real person too. So I thought that was interesting. Palace. I used to always want to live in a castle when I was a young girl, and I think I still kind of do. The only thing is now I recognize how cold, how cold it must be, and how the heating and the light bill must be astronomical. I had a house, a 3-bedroom house, y'all. Not even a big house, a very small family starter house size. And the electricity and the heat was crazy. So I can only imagine what it must be like in modern times to try to buy a castle and keep it heated and cooled and lit. Those candles probably saved them a lot of money. The Rift. Awesome. I love these ideas. They're so fresh. I've never, not to say I've never seen them, because yes, we've seen them in popular culture and stuff like that, but I have never seen this set of words and phrases and ideas together in one oracle deck. So I'm really feeling that. And I'm very interested to see how they go together. the tree. Beautiful. So several of the moons are a different color. I've seen red a few times, or pinkish color. This one is orangish color. One was greenish color. So that's a nice touch too. Oh, wow. The wasteland. Love a good waterfall moment. I love waterfalls. I love listening to them. I love pictures of them. I would love to bathe in one. Never had the opportunity, but I think that would be fun. Can you imagine just bathing in a beautiful waterfall? The well. Okay, the well. Ah, the witches. There we go. Ah, got excited when I saw that one. Got very excited for the witches. Very, very excited. And here is the zenith. Okay. And here is the last card. It says, thank you for using the Endless Oracle. The creation of this deck was a labor of love, and it means a lot that I get to share the finished product with you. I hope to create a deck that could be used intuitively, with cards that would have no set meaning. Okay, but could rather take on an infinite number of interpretations based on how they were placed alongside others. Let me put this here and pull it forward. I hope that the Endless Oracle inspires your intuition and imagination and offers up insights to you in ways that are special and unique. The Endless Oracle is the intellectual property of Eric Mail Art, and it is not to be reproduced in any way. If you are concerned that you may have purchased an illegal counterfeit version of the deck, you may verify the authenticity of this deck by checking the list of approved retailers here. So the link I'm going to give you is going to be the link here. So it's going to be right underneath this deck, this video for this deck. Okay. So let us take a few and see what we see. Okay. I'm going to take a few of them that I just liked at random that I mentioned. Okay. And I got to pick one more. Oh, yes. Got to pick this one. There. All right. So now let's push this back some. Now it says that they can come together to create a unique picture. So this is very unique. So let's see. Put them together just like that. And we're going to look and see. So if I pull these, what would I get? So the first thing I would do, because they're in alphabetical order, yes, they are in alphabetical order, I would go to the fairy ring first. It says illusions, deceptions, mischief, misguiding, trickery, and playfulness. Okay, so, all right, let's read some more about the fairy ring. Throughout the world, there is a rich and varied history of fairy-related folklore. Fairies have been reinterpreted in different ways that portray them as everything from playfully mysterious, my God, y'all, I cannot read today, playfully mischievous to deviously malevolent. Naturally occurring rings of mushrooms called fairy rings have come to be associated with the presence of fairies, indicating that they are nearby or even setting a trap for an unwitting human. This is thus a card that urges you to exercise caution. Some will maybe make an effort to mislead you, especially by attracting attention with something enticing. Be wary of illusions and tricks when you see the fairy ring. This card may be a warning to look out for deceptions, but it may also be advising you to approach things playfully and mischievously. Perhaps now is not a time to place your full trust in others, but perhaps they would do well to be cautious of you also. Interesting. Interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. In larger readings, pay a close attention to attractive bait that might be set near the fairy ring. Does something you want seem suspiciously close by? Also note whether anything malicious appears to be lurking too close to the fairy ring or to nearby temptations. There may be someone with ulterior motives waiting to catch you in their trap. In the sky. So let's look at the sky. Bellatrix. Okay. So this must be Bellatrix, the name of the star. Got it. Bellatrix Lestrange is also from Harry Potter. It says here, the shining blue star known as the Hand of Orion. Its name means female warrior, and it is thought to be associated with civil honor and military prestige. As much as Bellatrix can be associated with renown and recognition, it also has been ascribed some contrary symbolism regarding sudden dishonor, accidents, and blindness. It is not an inherently negative symbol, but perhaps one to be cautious of. Okay, so we get the symbolism going with the caution from the fairy rings. I like that. Creative notes. I think that the widely varied folklore surrounding fairy folk will make this card one that many readers will interpret in different ways. Fairies are truly horrifying creatures in some stories, while in others, fairies have been portrayed as benevolent and even helpful. Fairy rings are often thought to be the places where fairies have danced. If a human is to step into one, it is believed that they would be enchanted to dance there until dying of exhaustion or else losing all sense of time. They might stumble from their dance after what feels like minutes, only to find that years have passed. Wow, interesting lore. They are magical and mysterious places that, if nothing else, suggest the presence and power of fairies. That might mean different things for different people, especially when you consider the role that working with fairies or fae even has in some individual spiritual practices. So if you got that one, that's what that one is. Let's look at our witches. Interesting that I picked these three. So you got the fae, and then the witches, and then you got a bard who's singing our praises. So I didn't even realize what I was doing, but look what I did. All right, let's push this back. Oh, it's in the wrong space. There we go, like that. Witches. I love witches. The witches are activation, inner power, teamwork, manifesting, and spell work. Interesting. So if that one means that somebody could be after you, let's see what the witches could be helping us with. Your inner magic is stronger than ever, and you can rely on your willpower, determination, and creativity to make incredible progress. Now is a great time to set plans into motion or begin important projects. This card may indicate a surge of energy or inspiration, and you may feel as if you've become activated and spurred to action. The witches also remind us that we can rely on others. You have incredible potential alone, but is even greater when combined with that of others. The witches can also represent ritual practices or spell work. In larger readings, see what manner of magic the witches are performing by looking to nearby cards. So these witches are doing fairy magic. That is what I would think. Or they're doing magic against someone who's trying to attack them. So protection magic. So either one of those could go along with this particular spread we have so far. If there are cards both before and after the witches, what seems to have changed as a result of their work? Well, they must be going to be victorious because the bard is about your victories. So that's interesting. We'll get to that one next. What tools or events near the witches might be utilized in order to see goals met? What obstacles must be overcome? How do people in your reading seem to combine their power into what ends? In the sky. All right, so we're supposed to look up in the sky now. Okay, Virgo. This zodiac is sometimes associated with meticulous processes or making use of carefully refined routines. Much like the witches, Virgo can accomplish great things through spiritual practice. So these would be the constellation of Virgo. I don't know them off the top of my head, so I have to take his word for it because I don't have them memorized. I don't even have my own Aquarius one memorized. Creative notes. In my own readings, I have found this card to be really versatile. and realize that I want to interpret it many different ways depending on the other cards that are providing it with context. This is perhaps fitting for a card that's all about the expression of a magical force of power. Near cards like the goddesses or the procession, the witches appear to have a religious or spiritual meaning. When the witches is paired with the waterfall or the forest, it instead inspires me to consider my relationship with nature. There is always magic happening when the witch's card appears, but magic is such a broad word, and some readers may find it best to lean on their intuition with this highly versatile card when it appears. All right, so, okay, now we're going to find the bard and see if I was right about it singing our praises, because that tells me that our witches did some magic against whatever this threat was and may have come out of it okay. Let's see. Our bard says performance and expression, inspiration, romanticism, and storytelling. For better or worse, you have the eyes of an audience on you. Oh, this is an opportunity to express yourself creatively, inspire something in others, or even share a special connection with people around you. It may call you to make some manner of performance, indulge in romantic fantasies and idealism, and put your inspiration to good use. When this card appears, it may be likely that you have a message to share with others. Ask yourself why that message is an important one, and consider the ways in which it might be expressed. In larger readings, you may notice people observing the bard from afar. What does that say about them? Does the bard seem to be singing about anything in particular, or does it seem to inspire any sort of action? What is the bard's performance about, and why is it being performed? Nearby cards may suggest the nature of the bard's message, but also the way in which it is received. Now we're going to look at the sky. Look at that sky up there. So the sky above the bard is Leo, the zodiac most associated with those who like to stay in the limelight. That makes sense, yes. This is a symbol of those who are proud, though often not without reason. That makes perfect sense. That's cool. Creative notes. I had wanted to create some cards with the idea of using significators in mind, and the bard was one of them. The others are the healer, the knight, the diplomat, and the mystic. Originally, the bard was called the artist, but I wanted to base the potential significators off of a fantasy role-playing, game party. Yes, we used to play Dungeons and Dragons, and there was always a bard. And if you watch Stranger Things, they even mention some of the other role-playing characters. I mostly play a lot of RPG video games, and at the time of writing this, have never played Dungeons and Dragons. Well, you should. Eric, you definitely should, because I've played and it's awesome. Let me see. But I know that bards are a popular class in D&D. The bard also fits well into the narrative storybook-like theme of this deck. Definitely. Bards aren't just performers and magicians, they're also storytellers. I like that this bard in particular might seem to be telling tales of what else is occurring in a reading around it. So I think that our witches had a threat. I'm just going to make this up. I think our witches had a threat, and I think that they used fairy magic to neutralize the threat. I think it was a coven of them that worked together in the woods. They probably worked skyclad, and I think that they defeated whatever this threat was. And the bard got wind of what happened and is now walking around telling the story of this group of magnificent witches, which of course I see myself as the high priestess of. So this group of magnificent witches has handled their business and are now free of this threat. So if you would like to get a copy of this beautiful deck, please look underneath this video. I highly recommend it. It is a 10 out of 10. And I think it's going to really give richness to your readings with tarot. I think it's going to give richness by itself or with other, pair it with other oracle decks and tarot. Great for a daily pull and great for altar work. So thank you so much for checking out this fabulous deck. And you please come back soon because I have a lot more to say. Again, thank you, Eric, for this beautiful gift.